say this before I get started. I am not a lactation consultant. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a pediatrician. I'm just sharing with you the things I wish I knew. Just kind of being transparent, open, honest. Yeah, I just want to put that out there. I have done my own research, so I feel like I know a little something. But if you disagree with what I say, you know, that's okay. I'm just sharing with you my thoughts, my opinions, and like I said, the things I wish I knew. I wish I knew that breastfeeding would be very, I don't even know. Like I don't want to say painful, because breastfeeding shouldn't be painful, but it would definitely be uncomfortable. And I'm not saying because you have a baby on the breast, but it's just I'ma just have to use the word pain. For the first 3 weeks, it was painful for me. You talking about cracked nipples, bleeding, scabs, peeling skin. Y'all, the first 3 weeks are the roughest for me. I'm speaking from just based off of me. It was rough, and I wish I kind of knew like what to expect. And like I had been told, you know, yeah, the first couple of weeks are hard, but to me it just seemed so brushed away. But I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. If you for one make it past the first week, you're doing awesome. If you make it past week 1, you gonna make it. You get to week 2, you know, everything is kind of settling down. Your body is getting used to the sensation and just the fact that something foreign is going on, you know, like you've never breastfed before. So this is something new for you, the baby, and your body. So your body is kind of getting used to it by week 2. By week 3, you kind of know like, all right, this is what it is. And by week 3, I honestly feel like, you know, the pain should be going away. You shouldn't be feeling as much discomfort as you were in the beginning. Well, like I said, if you make it past week 1, you're doing amazing. Do not give up, y'all. It's so worth it. Don't give up. Get past week 1 and you'll be happy. I also wish that I knew, if done properly, hand expressing will be your best friend. And when I say if done properly, that means if you don't do it right, you're gonna hurt yourself. It's gonna hurt more than anything. But the first 6 weeks, hand expressing was my best friend. And even still now, it's my best friend. And it just help you relieve the milk that the baby can't take. Cause your breasts are never empty, so your baby only drink a certain amount, and then they're done, and then your boobs are still, you know, still feeling like bricks. Yes ma'am, it's feeling like bricks. So the hand expressing is what's going to help you relieve that sensation. And also with hand expressing, instead of pumping, you can hand express and still be able to store milk. I suggest in the beginning, when you're learning how to hand express, start off with a big cup. Don't try to hand express into a bottle, because y'all know those bottles are only about this big around versus a big cup. You know, you ain't really got to worry about your aim. You can just, you know, you just pulling the milk out and you good. The next thing I wish I knew is that the tingling feeling that you feel in your breast after you had a baby and your milk done came in, that's called a letdown. And funny story, when I had my baby, I kept feeling like this tingling in my boobs, and it kind of feel like a part of me want to say like static in your breast. I don't know, y'all. It felt odd, and I didn't know what it was. And I was talking to one of my other mommy friends who was breastfeeding, and she was like, do your boobs ever tingle? And I'm like, yeah, what is it? And she was like, it's your letdown. So it was, she had learned what it was, and she was telling me like, girl, I didn't know. She had taught me something. I think my baby was every bit of like 3-4 weeks old, and I did not know that the tingling sensation that I was feeling in my boobs was my milk coming in and letting down. Another thing with the letdown is sometimes there are women that don't feel the letdowns, and there are women that do feel the letdowns. I feel my letdowns, but now that I'm so far in, my son is almost 4 months, I don't feel them as much as I did in the beginning. Y'all, I could think about my son, look at my son, smell my son, and it would trickle my body to have a letdown. Back to what I was saying, the letdown will also let you know if you're gonna leak through your clothes. Leaking is another thing about breastfeeding. If you're not careful in those beginning weeks before your milk regulates, you'll be walking around with wet spots on the front of your shirt because your boobs, their milk have let down and it just let out. It got a little too full. So yeah, be careful about it. The next thing I wish I knew is that your boobs are never empty. I don't care if you done fed your baby and pumped or whatever the case may be, your boobs are never empty at all. Like, you can just feed your baby, you squeeze your boob and you still gonna have milk regardless. If your child want to feed back to back to back, they ain't empty. So let your child feed. And a lot of women feel like, you know, I just felt like I didn't have enough milk, or I feel like the baby wasn't getting enough. If you ever feel like your child is not getting enough, latch them more often and do skin to skin so that your body know, like, hey, baby is eating a lot more, we need to make more. Your body is smart. You will be amazed at the things that our bodies can do. And if you honestly feel like it's that bad, speak to a lactation consultant. But ladies, you know, don't just assume that your baby is not getting enough because they want to eat a lot more than what you expect them to. Like, some babies eat every 2 to 3 hours. Your baby may want to eat every hour or every 30 minutes, and that's okay. It's a phase called cluster feeding. Look into it. Totally normal. Let that baby eat. Because y'all know sometimes as adults, we want to eat every hour and we be hungry, and sometimes we ain't hungry, we just eating for comfort. So if your baby eating for comfort, that's okay, let them eat. The next thing I wish I knew about breastfeeding is nipple confusion is so absolutely real. I was advised not to give a bottle of pacifier for the first 6 weeks. I was hard-headed and I gave my baby a bottle, I think in the hospital, and at night when we got home, to try to make nighttime feedings more convenient. Y'all, my baby preferred the bottle over the breast, and I wanted to be like I wanted to do breast over bottle. So when I tell y'all I cried, like, oh my goodness, I done messed up my baby. Like, my baby don't want to nurse with mommy no more. The baby want to nurse with a bottle. And I'm gonna tell you why they do that. With the bottle, the flow is way faster for them. They don't have to work as hard with the bottle. If you think about it, if you hold a bottle upside down, it's gonna drip. If you lean over with your breast is not gonna drip as fast, or it may not even drip at all. So your baby is working for the milk when they're nursing on you. But when they have a bottle, they do not have to work as hard. The milk just kind of flows freely for them. So that's why there is a such thing as nipple confusion and nipple preference. My child developed a nipple preference. So I just wish I knew like how real that is. A lot of people be like, oh, I gave my baby a bottle and it was fine. Y'all, nipple confusion is real, and if you want to be the type of mom that nurse your baby to have that bonding and that experience, do not give your baby a bottle in the first 6 weeks if you can help it. That's just from personal experience and based off my research. If you disagree, that's okay. But I'm just saying. I also wish I knew the different ways to prevent engorgement and mastitis. I'm gonna tell you the ways, or just off the top of my head, a few ways that you can prevent it. And that's just by hand expressing when you feel like your boobs are like full, not skipping feedings. When they tell you to feed every 2 to 3 hours, you better feed every 2 to 3 hours. If you over the 6 week mark, you know, typically your milk regulates between 6 to 8 weeks. But let's just say you decide to give your baby a bottle because you have to go do something. When you get home, or whenever you get to where you need to go, or when you get back, make sure you pump immediately, because your boobs will fill up and that milk just sitting there will cause engorgement, mastitis. Y'all, I dealt with mastitis 3 times. Not fun. I don't wish that on nobody, but I just wish I knew the ways to prevent it, because I think I was a little hard head, and I, you know, as a first time mom, you just learning. So I was learning and I had to learn a few things the hard way. So if I can help you, don't pump the first 6 weeks, because that's another thing. Not only is your baby eating, but you pumping too. So it make it seem like the baby is eating more and your body is making more, but in reality your baby is not drinking that much milk. So just imagine your boobs are holding more milk than what the baby is drinking, which in return that milk is just kind of sitting there, and that causes engorgement, mastitis. It just causes more problems. So ladies, try to refrain from pumping the first 6 weeks until your milk regulates. If you need to relieve yourself of milk, hand express into the cup that I was telling you about, but avoid the pump. Don't be like me and be fast and pump. Don't do it. I definitely wish I knew that taking your prenatals even after having your baby is vital to breastfeeding as well. Not only vital to breastfeeding, but it's vital for your health as well. The baby is taking a lot of your vitamins through nursing, so those prenatals put those vitamins back into your body. So just continue to take your prenatals. I'm a big advocate for taking your prenatals because I did not take mine. I stopped taking mine after I had the baby, and I experienced hair loss. Some people, you gonna experience hair loss regardless, but I experienced it in chunks. I wouldn't even say hair loss, like my hair just was done, just came straight out. So take them prenatals, y'all. The babies really take from you, so it's important to take your prenatals. The next thing I wish I knew about breastfeeding is that everyone is not against breastfeeding. There are a lot of people that support breastfeeding. Now granted, you do have people that don't support it. They feel like it's the worst thing in the world. Avoid them, stay away from them. But I was surprised at how supportive my family was. My mom attempted to breastfeed me, but she was not successful. So I was formula fed, Zell was formula fed, Zell's my husband. Basically a lot of women around me have formula fed their babies, but when I spoke out about how I was serious about breastfeeding, I had so much support and I did not expect the support. So, you know, just having the support made breastfeeding easier for me. But I just wish that I knew, like Kim. I don't know, I was so nervous about telling people that I wanted to breastfeed, but when I said something about it, everybody was like, oh yeah, that's great, you know? So everyone is not against breastfeeding, and I wish I knew that in the beginning, because y'all, I was so nervous and so afraid to tell people, but when I told them, they was on board, so. And the last thing I wish I knew about breastfeeding is how to store and take milk on the go. The first time I had to take milk with me on the go to give to my baby, y'all, I was in a frenzy, like, what am I supposed to do? I had pumped the milk and I was like, what's next? Like, I don't know what to do. So just I'm gonna give you a real quick thing on how to take and store milk. So the things you'll need is a pump, storage bags, markers, and a bottle. Yeah, once you pump, put your milk in a storage bag and label it. Put the date on it, what time, how many ounces you have, label it. You gotta put the bag in the refrigerator or the freezer, it just depends. If you need the milk the next day, you can put it in the fridge. If you don't need it immediately, I would say put it in the freezer. If you put the milk in the freezer, you wanna thaw it out before you go on the go. And what I did, I just took a cup of hot water, put the milk in that hot water, and drove to my destination. Once I got to my destination, I transferred the milk into the bottle, put the milk in my in the diaper bag. Milk is good, breast milk is good at room temperature for 4 to 5 hours. People say different things. For me, after 4 hours, I disregard it. If it's in the fridge, I believe refrigerated milk will last 4 to 5 days. No, let me not say that. I don't know. I don't know how long refrigerated milk will last, because I always freeze my milk, and I know that milk can last for about 4 to 6 months, I believe. But I typically use it before then, and I don't have a stash, so don't worry about that. That's another thing, ladies. You do not need to have a stash. If your baby is exclusively breastfed and do not take bottles, push come to shove, you gotta nurse your baby wherever you are. If you're not at home, do what you gotta do, but don't stress yourself out trying to have a stash, because it's honestly not important. I have a couple of bags of milk, but that's just from either hand expressing or because I've given my baby a bottle and I had to pump in replacement of that. But I don't pump to have a stash. It ain't necessary. But that is the end of this video of things that I wish I knew about breastfeeding. I hope this is informative to a mom that's wanting to start breastfeeding. I really want to encourage you and let you know that you can do it. It's new for you and the baby, so while you're learning, the baby is learning as well. Don't give up on yourself and don't give up on your baby. The bonding experience is amazing. It's a beautiful thing. Not only are you saving money, I know a lot of people do it to save money. I was one of those people. But once I did it and I realized the bond that me and my child share, I plan to do it with the rest of my kids. Even my husband is like, I want you to breastfeed all of our kids, because he sees the bond that we have. And just to having a juicy baby, I got a juicy baby just off of breast milk. You know, people think that, oh, people just think different things, but I want to encourage you, if you desire to breastfeed, you can do it. Stay strong. If you don't have support and you need support, you are free to message me. I will leave my social media down in the description box. I am more than happy to help you, but don't give up, you can do it. This is the end of the video. My name is Kim, and I definitely hope that you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so that you can be notified when I post new videos. As I always say, I love you, but God loves you more. Bye, y'all.